Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we're back again for another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And today we have Yvonne Dam. She is an executive and business coach and the founder and CEO of Amaze Yourself, where she helps driven business owners and CEOs scale their businesses and free up their time. Her clients are looking to make a bigger impact while working smarter, and her strategies help them achieve greater business results, clear priorities, and overall life satisfaction. They work smart, earn more, and live better. And those are all good things to bring into your life and your business. Welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. And um, let's start off with, tell us what happened when you turned 50.
When I turned 50, I actually moved. So I moved from the Netherlands to Spain, where I currently reside. And it's actually a really funny story. So I celebrated my big 5-0 as a farewell party and a big party while still in the Netherlands with all my friends and family. It was amazing. And then a few days after, we drove, because you can drive from the Netherlands to Spain. We drove to Spain. And then on my birthday itself, we were all dressed up, the three of us, my husband, my daughter, and myself, to go for a fancy dinner in the place we're staying. But we moved during summer, and it was quite an unexpected move. So by the time we wanted to rent something, everything was rented out because it was high season, and we're in a where we live now is quite touristy. So we only found a little place like in the middle of nowhere, but they had restaurants, they had, so it's okay. And so fancy us, all like fancy going out for dinner and for a big celebration. And then we found that all the restaurants were closed. Each and every single one of them was closed because apparently their restaurants open only during the day. So we were like, okay, well then maybe let's go, visit a pub or something. Closing down as well. Okay, we don't have food. Let's visit the supermarket. So in the meantime, we were all quite hungry. My husband was like, okay, well, let me get a pizza. Okay, so we got a pizza, got into the apartment, and we didn't have an oven. So we imagine this. All three of us very fancy, by that time very hungry, and we ate a pizza from a pan because nothing else worked. I think
Good
it's
start.
yeah, we had a lot of fun about it, but it's it was a special memory. Yeah.
Well, you had to start off resourceful, which is a really
Yes.
good way to start your 50s, right? Because everything kind of changes and you start to kind of decide what you want and what you don't want. And you have to be resourceful as you're going through that. And, I love the name of your business, Amaze Yourself. So I know you also had a really long corporate career. So can you share like the transition from going from corporate to creating something called Amaze Yourself and how that all played out?
Yes. So I started my career as an international tax lawyer, and I worked for one of the top two global audit firms, and I held leadership positions in finance, HR, sales, and business development. And the last part of my corporate career was into change management, where we worked with leadership to make companies perform better. And I have been coaching executives since 2004. And I during my career, I already knew that I love nothing better than to help people perform better. That's really what makes my heart tick. And I've worked with large corporations, Fortune 500 companies like Toyota, GE, you name it. But it's always the people that make the change.
Yeah.
So I really felt a calling for coaching. And in the last, well, I had this dream to start my own business. And every time we moved, and I think we moved 9 times, I was like, okay, this is going to be my coaching. This is going to be the place where I'm doing the coaching. So when we moved to England, I said, okay, I'm not starting my business, but I'm giving myself the time to figure out what I need to do, and then I start it, or I stop thinking about it because it gets, too much.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
And then I did it, and I was like, it has to be about the people, because I truly believe that we all have something amazing in ourselves, but very often we don't see it. And especially because the people I work with tend to be different. They feel different. They're the rebels. They have a different perspective, which
Mhm.
is a great thing as an entrepreneur because it helps with setting up your business, but it very often doesn't help with your self-worth.
Yeah. And
So
it's hard within the structure of a corporation too, because you're always the outlier.
yes, yes. And I felt like I want to show people how amazing they are. And I want to help them to reconnect and rediscover and trust their own amazingness so that they amaze themselves. And that's what I've been doing. And the whole thing is what I did is I captured all the experience I have, and I shared it with my clients, and I help them to basically grow their business, but doing it in less time, because we have to enjoy life. That's what we're here
Yeah.
for.
And what does it look like when they have that moment where it clicks and they
Mm.
realize, "Oh, it's all me. I've had this all along."
It's wonderful, I must say. It's so wonderful when all of a sudden you honestly you see it click, you see it fall into place, and you see that they start to trust themselves fully, and then they go like, this is so easy. What's
Mhm.
wrong? It's so easy. Can it be so easy? Yes, it can, because you're operating from your zone of genius. So that's why it's so easy, but it's only easy for you
Mhm.
because of your specific know-how, your experience. And then they everything starts, right? They have more fun, they enjoy it more, they attract more clients. It's like Pandora's box has opened in a good way.
Yes, I totally understand. And, like, what are some of the transformations that you've witnessed? Like, what have people left behind or started or made an impact?
Um, so I have several that I really cherish. I had one business owner come to me, and she was quite overwhelmed. And we sat down and we did an assessment of her business. And then while we did the assessment of one business, it turned out she had two businesses and she had one on the side as well. So basically, she had three. And she was trying to do everything. And basically, what we did was draft a priority plan, and we helped her focus on, okay, because money was tight, we helped her to make sure that the cash flow started flowing again. And with that, she could then hire some people for a second business. And in 6 weeks, she doubled her income.
Wow.
And with that, she was working 7 days a week. And then she got her weekend back. And she was like, wow. And after that, she started to implement Silent Mondays, which was like for her, to be internal, to do some admin, but really, and it's just the most amazing transformation to see when someone is first like working nonstop to reducing their working hours, but feeling more relaxed because
Yeah,
things start to flow again. That was beautiful.
yeah, that's amazing. And, how does that impact you when this happens?
I just love it. It's my greatest joy to honestly see my clients thrive,
Mhm.
and that's what I do it for. To help them, and very often it goes beyond the obvious, right? People come to me because they want to grow their business. They come to me because they're very overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And then what they don't realize is, okay, I feel better in my own skin. I'm more healthy. My relationships improve. I have more fun. I allow myself to take time off without feeling guilty. So many things that aren't the things that they signed up for, but that very often are even more precious
Yeah.
because it delivers the joy
Mm.
that they didn't realize they missed.
Yeah, because it just happens a little, and a little, and a little, and a little. And
Yes.
before you know it, you're in this position that you never expected to be in. And, one of the things that I've learned through having these conversations is that, in midlife, people tend to call this a period of reinvention, but it's not reinvention. It's about remembering, because as we're going through that rat race, we're just giving things away, and we're putting things down, and we're forgetting about them, and we'll start something and not finish it. And sometimes that's the one thing that's going to turn everything around for you, or the one thing that's going to make you realize something important. And it really is a remembering. And as these pieces come together, it's just magical to see what happens, because you're letting go of the things that you don't need, and like redesigning this next phase of your life with what you want it to be. And it's such an incredible experience, personally to experience, and then to kind of be a part of this through all of these conversations. It's just been such a gift.
Yeah. I love that.
And we've got Jason chiming in. He's saying self-awareness is so important. So let's pick up on that a little bit and talk about that. Like, how do you see people change as they're kind of stepping into their zone of genius, and the things that that strengthen their self-awareness?
Well, so let me first elaborate a bit on the zone of genius, because you and I are very familiar with it, but I know it may not. But the zone of genius is basically where you work and it doesn't feel like work,
Hmm.
because you're so good at it and it comes so natural, and actually you love it so much that you would even do it for free. And
Hmm.
that's also a bit of a challenge, because some people go like, why? This is so easy. I can't charge for this, right? Um, so when I work with my clients and they discover this and they fully embrace it, there comes a bit of that, but this, and then when they work through it and they accept, okay, this is actually what I do and why I do it so well, then comes the phase, but now everything is so easy. And that's actually one of the biggest hurdles, because all around us in the society, in how we were brought up, it's always like work hard and
Yeah.
then you'll get successful.
Yeah.
Not saying that's untrue, because it's true. But when you are really in your zone of genius and when you're enjoying yourself, things do get easier.
Hmm.
And I help my clients to step into that and to fully embrace it, because it's not a given. It's not, oh, now I can take my Sundays and Saturdays off. Oh, nice. No, it's more like, how I can't take my weekend off. I'm not used to that.
Hmm.
How I can take an afternoon off and just I can I? And that's where the true sustainable
Yeah.
element comes in, because we can figure it out and then I can leave them. But then the self doubt creeps in. So it's really making sure that they feel comfortable, that they trust themselves enough, that they experience, hey, this truly works. It's not just a once off. And then when they feel completely at ease with it and they've seen it and they've implemented it, that's when I, withdraw. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I read something interesting last week, and I forget where I read it, but that people that are working in companies where AI is coming in and kind of making their jobs easier, or they are saving time, and sometimes 3 or 4 hours a day with the jobs that they have, they are feeling guilty. They feel like they're not working hard enough, and there's a gap there,
Yeah.
because they don't know what to do with their time. And I think that there's such an opportunity for leadership to step in and create an environment where their teams can step into their individual zones of genius and bring something that never existed before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also the ideal world, isn't it? When we are as a team all allowed to pitch in what we do best, because then all of a sudden it's like the synergy effect, right? If we all do from our zone of genius, then all of a sudden one on one becomes three. And
Mhm.
I totally recognize it. It's the guilt. It's also a bit of fear. Oh, is AI going to take over? Where am I in this aspect?
Mhm.
But it always still needs a human touch, and it
Yeah.
allows us to be more creative and open to think different things. And then when you take that and really twist it, I think then true new ideas
Yeah,
start to emerge.
absolutely, and it's such a moment in time where there's an opportunity for really, you know, a real shift to happen, because in the past that was a nice conversation, but now, like, on paper, there are 3 or 4 hours a day available now. So what can we do with that time, right?
Yeah,
And it's a reality, like, it's here, and it's gonna get better. I mean, we're still in the early days,
yeah, for
so it's
sure.
very exciting. Jason's chiming in again, and he said it's great when teams gel and play on each other's strengths. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think that this is, the clarion call for leaders to do things differently.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see what happens over the next couple of years. And for most people, I hope. I'm sure not
I
everyone.
agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's in larger corporations and in smaller corporations as
Mhm.
well. But I'm quite surprised. I don't know how you see that. Very often business owners are quite reluctant to use it.
Yes,
They go like, "Well, I don't know, and is it real?" And you can't use it, and everybody sees that it's AI. Well, if you literally copy paste it, yes, everybody sees it. But if you give it the right instructions and if you make it your own, I think it's quite wonderful.
it is wonderful. I've used it like I treat AI like a thought partner.
Yes,
And I converse with it and I ask it questions and I see what it knows. I mean, I feel when I sit down at my computer now, I feel like I have everything that I know of 40 years of working. And then I can put on like a backpack, the big library on the corner of Fifth Avenue and 42nd Street in New York City and carry that with me wherever I go and just ask it questions. And I think bringing curiosity to the way that you interact with these tools is the key to everything, because you don't know what's going to come next. And when I first started to work with them, my intention was to create like I was calling it AI with training wheels. That I would create these, and this is before you could do Chat GPTs or anything like that. But I found a tool that would allow you to create the back end, so you can build out things that people would just need to put in their criteria. And I got about a month into that, and I said, this is not the way to use these tools, because now we're limiting. I'm putting limitations on people, and the way to really use them is to not have any limitations. And then I also realized I turned myself into a software developer, which I am not. And I don't want to be the broken WordPress press plugin.
no, I hear you. Yeah,
And I think it's just really important to bring awareness around how to really use these tools, because they can change lives,
for
businesses,
sure.
communities,
Yes,
the way we live and communicate. And the other thing that I think about with these tools is, if we don't use them, um, we're going to be at a disadvantage, because they're going to be used by the people that are going to use them for good.
I'm totally with you there. Yeah, I agree, and I understand all the reservations there are,
Yeah,
but I honestly feel that like you said, you're putting yourself out of the competition, because it is a fact that things get done quicker, get done more effective, and it's so quickly progressing as well that if you're not hopping on, I feel you're truly missing out.
yeah. totally missing out, and it's still very early stage, and
Yes.
and for people like us, that have small businesses and we're more nimble and we could make changes and decisions more quickly than a corporation can, we really have an advantage because
Yeah.
we can do something in the morning and in the afternoon it could be something.
Yes, for
It could
sure.
it
Yeah.
could be something we teach or sell or educate or just have more knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that we have a small window, and the people that are not taking advantage of this are really going to regret that.
Yeah. 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 I totally with you. And I think for me, what helps is to kind of be playful with it,
Yeah.
to not take things too seriously. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna see what they come up with. Oh, I think this is garbage. I'm not using it. Oh,
Mm,
but I kind of like this. And
yeah.
then I actually like it when you, like you said, when you talk with it, right?
Mhm,
What have you done now? This is not how I. Can you
mm,
not just? And then you get like, certainly. And I,
mhm.
I
Oh,
just,
I'm sorry. You're right. I
yeah,
missed that.
I really like that. And then I'm having fun with it. And sometimes I just think, oh no, I can do way better. So that's good as well.
Mhm.
It's not a necessity. It's really an enrichment. But too
Yeah.
often, especially for me as a non-native speaker,
Mhm.
it can help tremendously. And it's everywhere. I use Grammarly, which is
Mhm.
like to check
I
my
do.
grammar, especially my commas.
Me too. I'm
It's
actually a Grambassador, and
oh really? I always get, oh, you forgot the comma again. I go like, all right. Um, but I like it. They have now this tool where they say, do you want to emphasize this? And then they give this. And sometimes I think it's great, and sometimes
Mhm.
they don't get it, where it's like a short post. Um, but what it has done for me is that it has helped me think differently.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wh-
yeah,
What I
that's what I
what
like.
I find too, this is because I teach people how to do this, and what's been really helpful is that it makes people think through what they want before they ask, which a
Yes.
lot of people don't do. They just jump in and they start doing because they're doing a million things. But this makes you, because when you don't give it the right information, what you get back is just garbage. And so you either walk away or you start to think about what you really want.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that that will help in communications with
True.
across the board, because I mean that these you have the same issues when you try to work, either delegate something or work within a team. If you're not communicating what your vision or what you want, or your part of whatever it is that you're working on, the same thing happens. What you
Yeah.
get is garbage, but now it
Yeah.
takes longer and it costs more money.
It's very true, but it's often also what goes wrong, especially with
Yeah.
smaller businesses, right? It's one of the things I see more in general, that they struggle, business owners struggle to let go of control when they don't want to hire someone. They know they have to hire someone because they can't do it all. And then when they hire someone, that other person needs to be a mind reader.
Yeah.
And it's the same with what you put in AI. They don't read minds. They just do whatever you tell them to do. And if you're not specific, if you not talk about your tone of voice or how you want it, you get
Who the audience.
according. And everything is amazing what they put out. If you see it, you go like, wow, that's a bit much. And that's what I see with a lot of business owners, why doesn't necessarily work for them to outsource, because like you're saying, they're not communicating well.
Yeah.
They didn't think up front, what's the person I need, what are their characteristics, who do I work well with, what am I going to outsource, do I want them to work independently? And then what's going to happen, they're going to be very frustrated. They very often don't want to fire them because they want to be nice. And then it's a double whammy. They have someone who doesn't perform in their eyes, and they don't want to let go. So they have double
So
cost and
yeah,
and not the results.
yeah, because now you're paying somebody to still do the work.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all been there. It happens first, and then you have to learn from it. But a lot of people don't learn.
So what is the most creative way that you've used AI where it's really kind of made an impact in the work that you do?
Um, for me personally, I've used it for copywriting a lot. Um, and I love when I feed them some of my own text and then
Mm,
I say, I like you to use this tone of voice. Um, I've also given it some research and then it came back that I thought, this is so crap. But recently I wanted to look something up and I thought, let me just ask it. And it was mind blowing. It's something I'm going to implement in my program. And I just like, wow.
yeah,
And in a minute, right? In a
yeah,
minute. And I was like, wow, I think it would have taken me 2 days.
yeah.
So,
There's
um,
for research, if you're researching like a big research paper or something like that, I recently found a tool. It's free and it's part of the Google suite, and it's called Google Notebook LLM, and it's a closed environment, so you can upload documents, you can put websites in there, you can put your own content in there, and it will only search within that content.
oh, that's nice.
So it's not pulling from any external sources. So if you need to, provide any, data or science-backed or evidence-backed information, it's a good way to do that. Like if you had like a 200-page medical lit review
Mm.
that you needed to pull something from, you upload it in there, and it will only pull from that.
I'm working with a researcher right now for a client. We're doing a lot of research, so I'm already like, okay, I need to after this call, I need to tell her I'm looking at the time.
Yeah.
She needs to hear this. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really happy to find that because, you don't know, AI tools hallucinate, so
Yes.
you could get something wacky back.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
The Tam is asking what it's called. It's called Google Notebook LLM, and if you just Google that, it'll come right up. But it's a great tool. So, I mean, I can't believe we're at 30 minutes already.
I know. It's
Is there
quick.
anything
Yeah.
else you want to share before we wrap up? Because we kind of this turned into an AI call, but that's
Yeah,
not.
I know. Well, the one thing maybe that kind of lines with it, I think a lot of people get quickly overwhelmed, especially these days. We talk about AI, we joke about it, but for some people, it's also like, oh my gosh, it's something else new, and I have to learn. I don't have time to learn. I already have so much. And many business owners come to me because they feel overwhelmed. And they kind of hit a plateau where they normally would just work a bit harder. Now all of a sudden they work hard, but nothing happens. And I just wanted to share, if you feel yourself in a similar situation, whether you feel very overwhelmed or you're like, it doesn't work anymore, that extra time, then what I would really suggest is that basically you pause, because that's always a good idea, to pause and to kind of take a step back. And I can already tell you, when you feel overwhelmed and when working more is not the solution, you've got too much going on.
Mm,
And it can very well be, for example, that the AI tool just needs to wait for now.
yeah.
And what I would really suggest is pause, take a step back, and look at all the things you're working on. And most likely you would have like a very, very long list. And then if you start to, for now, pause and for a rainy day, the things that don't really help you to achieve your goals, they're more nice to have than they're must haves. And depending on what your goal is, for example, if your goal is to grow your business, or if your goal is to make more impact, or if your goal is to make more money, select those activities that help you the quickest, in the easiest way, in the
Mhm.
shortest timeline to get there.
Yeah.
If you focus on that and pause everything else and stop a lot of things, the overwhelm will be gone and you can breathe again.
Yeah. That spinning goes away, right?
Yes, that like, I need to do everything. No, not
Yeah.
now. Just
Yeah.
focus on what it is you want to achieve. And you know, if you write it all down, you go like, oh my word, it's too much. It is. So don't
Yeah.
do it all.
And we don't even realize how much we do.
Yes.
Because we're just doing one thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And, I learned years ago to just, when I get to that space, to ask myself, well, who set that deadline?
That is a great question. Yeah. I also like the question, do I have to do this
Mhm.
now? And
Yeah,
if you ask yourself that question 5 times with the emphasis every time, do I have to, or is it nice to have, do this now? Very often the answer is no, I don't. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
let it
There's nobody
go.
waiting for it but you.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Well, I think that might have been your wisdom bomb.
It was my wisdom bomb. Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you, Yvonne. It was really great spending some time with you today and chatting. And you can find Yvonne at amazeyourself.com. She's also on the Real 50 Over 50 website. If you are watching this on the replay, please comment, share your thoughts, ideas, questions, tag us. We will come back and we'll keep the conversation going. We have a lot of people that watch the replays. We have bingers. I get emails that people spend 7 hours in a car and listen to all of the interviews, which is really great. And
Yes.
and we will be back with more interviews every Wednesday, noon Eastern time, and once a month with a wisdom panel. So have a great Wednesday, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Bye.